there's one thing missing here in Austin, it's Detroit style pizza. They had a little bit of money, bought a trailer, opened it on 6th Street in Austin. They didn't have a pizza cutter. If you said anything bad about Via, you got punched in the face. It's kind of like its own little mini fight club because people were just so passionate about it. That's where Savory stepped in and started the growth. Utah is a food city. Like it is, there are some iconic brands here.
She's like, oh, there's this like place that I've been to. It's good. It's called Via 313. Let's go. And I'm like, all right, like carb load, whatever. We go. I'm like, oh, every sentiment that I had, I apologize. You are right.
There's some pretty amazing things coming up in the future for Via. Be who you are. Be authentic. Just do what you do really well. I've had probably a lot of nights where I drove home without the music on. Sat in my garage for probably 10 to 15 minutes just processing the night before I went inside.
If you're looking for a blanket around the house or the perfect gift for someone that they'll actually use, you have to check out Minky Couture blankets. Their Hugs blankets are soft, comfortable, and definitely the blanket you'll use every day around your house. They also make dog beds, so your dog can be just as comfortable as you are. Use the link in the description or use code Small Lake City for 50% off your Minky Couture order. Because if there's two things that someone, doesn't matter how well I know them, if they come to me and say either, hey, I've lost like a very significant amount of weight, or I've quit smoking cigarettes, or like, I mean, we can throw like drugs, addiction, whatever that could be in there. And it's always like,
I did all three.
well,
yeah, drugs and alcohol, definitely smoking, and definitely being a tub of shit for sure.
Well, a tip of the cap to you. I mean,
Thanks,
so many, I mean, it gets even more broad from there with the people that complain about situations, whatever's happening to them. And it's like, well, are you going to do something about it? They're like, well, excuse. You're like, all right, well then.
Yeah,
good luck.
It's the victim mindset, man.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Like there's a quote that my stepdad's dad, so like step grandpa, gave me. He gave me like a stack of these cards before I went on my mission once upon a time. He was like, it's this quote from a general authority, but it was, for every problem under the sun, there is a remedy or there is none. If there is one, hurry and find it. If there is none, never mind it. So I've always internalized that of like, is there a solution to my problem? Cool, let's go solve it. If there's not, I really can't like focus on this too much.
There's always a solution.
Always a solution.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, I'm excited to talk today because like it's interesting to see Salt Lake's growth in so many different ways, but I think there's oftentimes this like area of growth that gets undermined of how many eyes externally look at Salt Lake City, at Utah, the broader picture, and say, hey, we're going to invest, we're going to put things there. And then especially like twofold of having a fund that kind of goes under the radar of a lot of like the other like traditional VCs that you see in the Valley, but invest in a lot of traditional food and bev businesses. I mean, they've invested in everything from Swig to Mo Betta's to, Via obviously, and all of these different ones. But I feel like this investment for them in the Savory Fund was so much more of like bringing something in than taking something in and making it out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to you a lot about that today, but it was fun looking at your background before this. And there's a lot of iconic food places in Utah that, got to be a part of your journey. So first off, curious of how you ended up in Utah, but then talk to me a little bit about kind of that road to Via.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So roughly 25, 26 years ago, I was living in Seattle, and I was working I was actually in the retail business, working for Pacific Sunwear, PacSun. Mm-hmm. There was an opportunity to move to Utah to work and to kind of open up this market. So I jumped at it. I grew up actually not too far from here up in southern Idaho. Okay. And so I was like, oh, it'll get me pretty close to home. So I did that. Quickly realized how much I absolutely despise retail and got a job serving tables. And that was kind of my beginning journey, I guess, in hospitality, and bounced around a little bit, just serving and bartending for several years. And finally took a step into leadership, a couple different brands. You mentioned a few iconic brands. Had an opportunity to work with Michael McHenry, who's kind of a local restaurateur. That's,
Sunday's Best
is
the one that
Oak.
People recognize the most.
Yeah, some pretty solid brands. Had an opportunity to work with him for quite a while, and this opportunity with Via came along, and I jumped at it. Big fan. I've had this. It's kind of like this magnetic attraction to Via since I read about them years ago and saw them on like Food Network. They were winning all these awards, and I was like, this brand is so edgy, and just badass. I just want to be a part of it. And I saw they were opening in Utah, and I was like, oh, I'm so stoked. Cool. Super cool. Actually had an opportunity to meet the CEO and chat for about 6 months, and he made me an offer, and I jumped at it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who aren't necessarily, I mean, as familiar with Via as, I mean, I mean, like you said, the brand, but also the company. Like, give us like a elevator spiel on Via, where it came from, and a little bit of the humble beginnings.
Via was started by two brothers, Brandon and Zane Hunt. They're from the Detroit area. Super, blue collar, gritty individuals. One of the brothers was living in Austin, and the other brother was in Detroit, and it's like, man, there's one thing missing here in Austin. It's Detroit style pizza. Mm-hmm. And they're both going through their, I guess different trials of life. And, the story goes, they had a little bit of money, bought a trailer, opened it on 6th Street in Austin. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about the first night they opened is they go to cut the first pizza and they didn't have a pizza cutter. So they actually had to go over to a competing truck and ask them if they could borrow a pizza cutter for the night.
That's hilarious.
But it just started to compound. They started creating, raving fans. There was a time, probably the first 3 or 4 years in Austin, to where if you said anything bad about Via, you got punched in the face. It was kind of like its own little mini fight club.
Yeah.
Because people were just so passionate about it. And they grew. They had 3 trailers and 3 brick and mortar locations in Austin, and they got to a point where they're like, this is probably a little bit beyond our skill set to continue to grow this. So that's where Savory stepped in and started the growth.
And that's what I love about a lot of kind of like these iconic restaurants that have popped up in the last, let's say like decade plus, is like before you had these restaurants, they would go brick and mortar, mm-hmm. and then brick and mortar and scale. Like, I mean, the iconic, like the Chili's, the Applebee's, the Cheesecake Factories, insert whatever mega chain there. Mm-hmm. But then it's fun to see in these last few years of it really is like, it's either one of two. They do their own food truck mm-hmm. and get a cult following that way, or they work in one of these like ghost kitchens and really like refine or kind of build their menu and test it out and then go from there. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to have like this new infrastructure and like almost like consumption model of people to make that happen. And it also makes like this kind of like grassroots cult following start to happen. And you see those pop up all the time, even in Salt Lake, and a lot of those food trucks that, the one that comes to mind is like Cut Bop. Yeah. Like I remember when Cut Bop started, it was on campus, it was a food truck, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I never thought we'd have this. And the next thing you know, like it's blown up everywhere.
Yeah.
Same thing. I guess Swig isn't probably the best example of that because for a lot of reasons, but yeah. So it's fun to see how that happens, but especially where like there's been this kind of like stigma against kind of bigger chains, but then there's like this kind of tier of like where it's like, oh, we have this cult following, and people want it and we're going to grow it, mm-hmm. which is such a perfect, like that's exactly what Via has done. Especially now where, how many locations are they up to in Utah?
Utah, we've got 5 currently in Utah. Crazy. With 1 under construction. It'll open up on 8th South and 9th East. They were shooting for early November, so really excited about that one to have our first kind of semi-Salt Lake Metro location. Yeah. We've kind of started in the burbs and working our way downtown. It's a beautiful space. I actually got to tour it this week. And
if you're trying to keep up with everything life throws at you, work, workouts, long runs, rounds of golf, whatever it might be, having your nutrition dialed matters. That's why I use Gnarly Nutrition. From supporting my recovery to fueling performance and helping me feel good no matter what I've got going on. And even better, they're located right here in Utah. Whether you're in the gym, on the trail, or just trying to get through your day, Gnarly has you covered. Check them out through the link in the description to see why they've become part of my daily routine.
Yeah, it's going to be special.
See, 8th South, 9th East.
It's in the Smith's parking lot.
Okay, so it's like just west of there. There's like that new development.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with the kind of the red shell on the outside. It already looks like a Via a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Well, because I was driving by. It's always fun because like I live on the west side now, but like a lot of my friends and family are on the east side. So I go over enough where if there's anything new, I'm like, oh, what's going on over there? Yeah. And so it's fun to just see it just continue to grow and like have great things that people want and continue to pop in. And oh yeah, because like with Detroit style pizza, like it was something that wasn't even on my radar until I ended up dating a girl who's from Detroit, and we're sitting there one night and she's like, I'm hungry and I'm really craving food from home. I'm like, oh, what does that even mean? Like, do you just want to go drink a bunch of like car oil? Is that how that works? Or like, I don't know. And next thing you know, she's like, no, like Detroit style pizza. I was like, oh, is that the one with like the sauce on top? Like, I don't know if I'm in. She's like, listen, trust me. And so I think it was, and like I think the first time we went it was before there's a half marathon down in like southern part of Utah County. And we were staying the night there because it was just, I mean, I don't want to wake up at like 4 a.m. to go drive 45 minutes and then go run 13 miles. But we get there and she's like, oh, there's this like place that I've been to. It's good. It's called Via 313. Let's go. And I'm like, all right, like good carb load, whatever. We go. I'm like, oh, every sentiment that I had, I apologize. You are right. It's amazing. It's like, I'm a big quality bread guy. Get some cup pepperonis on there, good cheese, and call it good. But then it was fun. Like that was my first experience of it. But then just to keep seeing them popping up, from like a leadership and like corporate lens, what has made Utah and especially like the Salt Lake broader area attractive from your perspective?
I think, from the outside looking in and growing up outside of Utah, there's this weird stigma about Utah, right? It's like quirky and weird, and it's just a bunch of Mormons and unseasoned food. I still hear it when I travel, like Utah's got food, and it's like Utah's pretty amazing. Actually, tell everybody how terrible it is because I'm tired of everyone moving here. But Utah is a food city. Like it is. There are some iconic brands here. And the bigger chains are starting to notice this, right? And moving here. And I think it really started with, let's say, Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yeah.
For years and years and years, they were like anti-Utah, never go into Utah. We sell way too much alcohol. It'll never work. And then they open here and it's like top performing location, right? And instead they substituted, they don't sell as much alcohol, but they sell 3 times as much dessert.
I was going to say, if there's one thing Utah always comes through on, it's sugar.
It works.
Yeah.
But it works, and it's profitable, and it's a great model, and it's very, very popular. Utah's got a great food scene. There's so many just amazing brands that have actually started here and grown outside of the state. And the one thing I know about Utahns is they like good food. And, Detroit-style pizza is unique and different, often imitated. And often confused. Like, I often hear like, oh, is it kind of like deep dish? Well, no, deep dish, like Chicago style pizza. That's something I want to serve somebody if I'm going to fight them, right? Because they're going to be like incapacitated.
Yes.
It's light, it's airy, it's crispy. There's this texture with Detroit style pizza that no one else can touch when it's made properly, right?
Yeah.
Cheese all the way to the edge. There's no crust. Right. And it's just that room temperature sauce on top. It creates the most perfect bite. And then, we have a lot of different flavors and options for everyone. It's truly like, I often say I'll take the Pepsi challenge against anyone for bite to bite. I just think that when our pizza's made right and we pair it with like just the most genuine, authentic hospitality, it can't be beat.
Totally. And even when I went, because I knew this was happening, so I was like, if I'm going to talk to Sean about Via, I got to go to Via. And so I show up like, all right, like, what do I need to get? And she's like, well, if you're like ready to play ball, like, let me take care of you. Kind of thing. I was like, please do. Cause like I always hate showing up to restaurants and like making a decision based on my own bias, but it's usually like, hey, what do you recommend? What did you have for lunch? What did you have for dinner? What does everybody order? Like, or that's kind of like the thing that everybody orders inside. And it's always like some sort of special, but she's like, okay, well first let's get you, I think we got like the charcuterie board to start, which is like, okay, cool. Like charcuterie board, good. Yeah. And then we had the, it was like the street corn pizza.
Yeah.
And I was a little skeptical at first, but then when I took a bite, I was like, okay, I'm in. And then because of my indecisiveness, I was like, I don't really know what to get. Cause like I could do pepperoni, I could do a little bit more meat. This like kind of like a fig jam sounds good. She's like, listen, if you can't try all of them, because it was just me, I'm not gonna order like 4 pizzas. She's like, it's what's it called, the DLX.
Yeah, DLX 313.
And it has like the 4 most popular ones. So it's nice to be like, all right, let's try this out. Have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean they're popular, but I would say they're just kind of the staples. Yeah. They're kind of what got us to where we are. I mean, I travel a lot and I wear my Via gear everywhere. Damn proud to wear it. And people are like, oh, my favorite pizza is the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Right? And the Cadillac has a cool story. It actually was a limited time offer back in the day, early on. And so like 30 days on the menu. It was so popular that when we took it away, people like rioted. They lost their mind that pizza got taken away, and we had to put it back on.
And for those who don't know, what's on the Cadillac?
So the Cadillac is going to be prosciutto, which is just awesome, great bite. It's got fig preserves. It's got a balsamic glaze, of course, our amazing cheese, and then it's got gorgonzola, which just adds a pretty unique bite to it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flavors that all complement each other really well.
It does. It's just such a great bite, and then it also has my personal favorite, which is the Ambassador Bridge. That's got our natural casing pepperonis or the cut pepperonis. It's got our house sausage, a little bit of minced garlic, and then we finish it off with whipped ricotta that we make in-house, and it's just, I have dreams about it. Like PG-13 dreams, but dreams. I mean, it's so good.
Wake up looking like I need pizza for breakfast.
Our most popular pizzas on there, that's the Detroiter. That's our double pepperoni. It's got our smoked pepperoni underneath the cheese. That's how they do it in Detroit. They kind of hide it from you. Yeah. It's got our natural casing pepperoni on top, and then just our house sauce, our D sauce on top. We sell more of that pizza than anything, and it is so good. Like that is a staple.
Like I always appreciate, like as I've gotten older and had more pizza, like it wasn't until I went, like Prince Street in New York where I was like, oh, I see these cup pepperonis. Like this is tell me more. Yeah. But then once you get go to Via, it's like, oh, well, you want normal pepperoni and those like natural casing cup pepperoni? Like you get both. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah. We also have jalapeno pepperoni that's awesome. So there's a, we definitely have the options.
Yes.
But the DLX, we finish it off with another just iconic pizza, which is the Bobo Brazil.
Yes.
That's kind of a spicy pizza, sweet and spicy. It's got calabrese, sausage, red pepper flakes, and then hot honey. That probably is a crowd favorite. Rarely, like I take it to a lot of catering events and people are like, oh, I don't know. And then they try it and they're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. Plus it's just a cool story. The Bobo Brazil is actually named after the first African-American wrestler in the WWF, now the WWE. And the brothers were just obsessed with him. So really cool. There's actually a lot of little like old school wrestling Easter eggs throughout the brand, like on the pizza box underneath there's Sergeant Slaughter. It's just really cool. I think that's why I mesh so well with the brothers, is just because we grew up pretty similar, and had like a weird obsession with 80s wrestlers.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
I mean, I always love when people throw like a little bit of themselves, like give the brand a brand instead of make it like, quiet and like just not as, I don't know, unique as it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, they sound like cool guys. Like there's people I meet that found businesses. I'm like, all right, cool. Like operating margin, gross margin, like cool. Like the boring business stuff. But then they're like, yeah, we wanted to have 80s wrestling and everything. And we're going to start a food truck and we forgot our pizza cutter and we just want to make good pizza.
They are absolutely two, like just the most genuine and authentic guys you'll ever meet. Like quite successful, right? I mean, 27 restaurants. They're investors in tons of other, brands, but Via's awesome, and it's really awesome because of them. They're just like two of the absolute coolest guys ever.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the future of, actually going back to like because I always hate that trope of that people come in with Utah. It's like, oh, Salt Lake has terrible food. Mm-hmm. And there was a time like, yeah, you're right. Like, go other places. And I would never say come to Salt Lake specifically for food because you put it against like the outdoors, it's going to lose. But to say like, oh, there's nowhere to go, there is no good food. It's like, well, have you been out recently? Have you tried anything new? Have you given anything, or like, are you at least willing to reassess your bias or like try something without the bias? Because there's so many great, like it's fun to see this kind of new wave of entrepreneurs be like, hey, I want to make this restaurant. I want to do this, or I want to do that. That hasn't been done. Because there's like a lot of old heads that have been around forever and created some like great places. But then there's these people who amongst kind of like these big name, like the Cheesecake Factory came in when City Creek finally was built and let them in. But then they're willing to go head to head against them. But like Salt Lake is so supporting of its own community that they're like, yeah, like we're going to go to Central 9th every morning for breakfast, go get a breakfast sandwich, or we're going to go to Mateo, or we're going to go like all these like tried and true places that people stuck their neck out so much. And like, it's always hard for me. Cause like there's the thing I appreciate about food and restaurants is it's so almost like this hyper focused capitalistic environment, especially in Utah, because people spend their dollars pretty specifically. Mm-hmm. And like, so there'll be a restaurant that'll go out of business and I'll hear someone be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this place went out of business. I'm like, oh, like, when was the last time you went? They're like, oh, it's been like 3 or 4 years. I'm like, well, like, Yeah. And so like, that's one thing I've championed people a lot recently. It just is like, restaurants are struggling kind of across the board. I'm like, hey, like pick like 2 or 3 places that if you saw that headline, you would be devastated. And like, you would hate that. And you would not, like, it would be like a hurt to like a place that you would like to go, or like feels that like emotional food void, and go support them, because that's how we keep that community. But then it's like also the other edge of the sword is whenever someone goes out of business, it opens up a space for someone else who's maybe been sitting on that idea forever, been thinking about finally creating their own thing to be like, all right, well, I think I want to get into the arena and make my own choice. So it's kind of nice to have Utah where it's like this balance of, kind of like these huge chains, which is very timely because like the Chili's on 4 South, which is like one of the most iconic like chains in Salt Lake. Like I was trying to explain it to someone the other day. I was like, oh, I can't believe that Chili's going out of business. Like, it's just a Chili's. I'm like, but you don't understand. Like growing up here, I went there all the time. And it was because my parents were divorced, and he's like, oh, we'll go to Chili's. And I would always get baby back ribs and a virgin margarita. In college, we'd always go there, blah, 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 whatever it could be. So there's like the appetite for that, but then there's appetite for these like kind of homegrown places, but there's still like this opportunity for, and like what a lot of people love is this kind of like more like hyper focused or like kind of newer age chains as well.
Yeah. No, it's there's such an awesome food scene here. I mean, and it is, so it's terrible when a good restaurant goes out of business, right? I remember when like Mocha Salsa closed on 33rd South. I cried. But I ate there like 5 days a week. Yeah. This was my absolute favorite, like after the bar spot, right? Yeah. I've had some just amazing meals there, right? Post partying meals when they were awesome. But, I feel like good brands figure it out. Yeah. Right. And one thing that's unfortunate in a lot of brands is they kind of dumb down the service and they try to be for everybody. And that's be who you are, be authentic, right? If like you do this style of pizza, stick with that style of pizza and just do it really freaking well. But you don't have to add New York style and grandma style and all the different styles to try to please everybody. Yeah. Like just do what you do really well. And there's a lot of brands that are doing that right now. Like really doing it well. Like you mentioned Mateo's, like holy wow. Like what a great, everything is just unbelievable, right? I think of Santos Tacos, like like every time Monarca is just like I get hungry thinking about it, right? Yeah. Monarca is just, I just know what I'm getting every single time I go there. I know exactly what the experience is going to be like, and they're doing it right? And that's the thing that unfortunately I think gives these jokers from out of state that say Utah has like this terrible food scene. It's just the inconsistencies that a lot of brands execute. It's like, just do what you do and do it really well. Exactly. Right. Like protect your core. Don't try to do things that you don't like. I mean, even with like Mocha Salsa, like that was such because I grew up closest to there, and we go there in high school, and you go get in line and you go see friends, you go parking lot. There'd maybe be a fight every other week or something stupid. But you'd get to buy your food. I'd be like, oh, hey, it's you again. How's this anyway? Blah, blah, blah. Swipe your card. Have a good one. See you in a week or see you tomorrow, whatever that could be. But I remember when they went out of business, when they told them like, there was lines going around, like people were waiting for like 3 or 4 hours just to finally have their last Mocha Salsa and say goodbye to Hector. And so it's like that sort of like support that they give is so great. But then it comes down to, and I was reminded of this because I was recorded with Jordy and Max from Thieves Guild Cidery. And because I was talking to them, because I don't know if you've been there, but it's like such a specific experience because it's like a D&D, like medieval tavern, like leans so much into what it is. Yeah. But you go there and you're like, oh, if this wasn't here, these people wouldn't be out. Yeah. And it gives them this kind of place to do it. And talking to them about the idea, I mean, they're working with kind of a mentor and they're like, do we really want to lean this much into this? And the guy's like, absolutely. Don't simplify it. Don't make it for everybody. Do this. And that's been like a lot of their success. And so in the same way, it's like if Via would be like, hey, by the way, we're doing like birria tacos now, or we're doing like something, or we're going to do New York pizza or deep dish. You're like, that's kind of like not what we do. And we don't want to like, we can't please everybody. We're not just going to be this hyper reactive brand to what is just, I mean, the new trendy thing. It's like, stick to our core, stick to what we know. Make it fun. So then when it goes away, people are like, hey, listen, I'm never coming back unless you bring the Cadillac back because I need that prosciutto and fig jam. Yeah, 100%. The elote pizza is similar. I think it's going to be a pizza that probably makes its way onto the menu just because it is that good. I mean, you got to try it. It's awesome. I love to add, some fresh jalapenos on there, spice it up a little bit. That's my take, yeah. But man, that pizza is such a great bite. Because I'm a sucker for, like if I go... My recent guilty pleasure has been if I'm going out and I'm like, okay, like, hey, it's time to call an Uber. I'll usually hop on some sort of like pizza app and be like, okay. And my go-to pizza is like Hawaiian, add jalapeno. And if they have hot honey, I'll add that too because I love like that sweet and spicy. So then it's nice. I'm like, okay, pizza ordered. And then it's either I get home and there's a pizza on my doorstep that just got there. I'm like, perfect. Or I get home, get into comfy clothes, and it's like, oh, ding, like pizza's here. Yeah. But like the Lotte one was definitely the one that snuck up on me the most because I like definitely trusted her. I was like, yeah, like let's like definitely wouldn't be something I ordered, but I took a bite. It was one of those like touche, tip of the cap. That's kind of been the reaction across the board is people are like, corn and pizza, elote? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? And then you take that bite and you're like, okay, it's kind of a unicorn.
Yeah.
Right. It's really good.
And I mean, I guess like I would assume there's a lot of people that come into Via and are like, oh, I've never had Detroit style pizza, or someone recommended me. And I mean, do you get a lot of those people where they're like, oh, like very pleasantly surprised at something I've never tried before because it's just such like a unique type?
Yeah. In my role, I pretty much see every single review that comes across, right? Positive and negative. And the amount of reviews that we get that are just like, this is the best pizza I've ever had. Like, there's just something about the texture, right? That, you know, traditional New York style or Neapolitan style, they just don't have, right? It's just that cheese to the edge, the sauce on top, and then just the texture that we're able to create with that kind of light and airy focaccia style crust. It's just next level.
Yeah. And then thinking about, I mean, you kind of hinted at it, but curious of, because you can't eat Detroit style pizza every meal and every day, but what are some of your other places that you're either excited about or frequent? Because it's like one, or like those places where if someone will either be from here or come in and be like, hey, I want some really good food, where are you going?
Yeah. So anytime anyone comes to town, I always tell them they got to hit up the Park Cafe for breakfast, right? Sean and his crew are just, again, very genuine, very authentic humans. And then they serve the best breakfast in town, right? It's just next level. I think that there's a lot of brands doing a lot of things really well. Like I kind of mentioned Michael McHenry earlier. I mean, Sunday's Best is a great brunch spot. I think his restaurant Oak is really special. It's kind of a little secret restaurant out in Draper that just is doing it right. I mentioned Santos Tacos, huge fan. I mean, what those guys are doing with tacos is unbelievable.
They started as a food truck too, right?
Yeah. And the unique thing about, I guess, us and Via is most of these brands start as food trucks and then go away from it, right? We're actually still opening food trucks.
Cool.
So we actually have a mobile food truck that can go to events. We just did kind of an EDC style event called Illfest in Austin that had almost 40,000 people over 3 days. We had our food truck there and crushed it. And it was awesome. We have several trailers at different bars. And then we just took over the kitchen inside of a brewery in Austin called Fast Friends. It's right on I-35. Coolest space ever, 3 levels, got a speakeasy, really cool space. And then we just took over the kitchen there. So Via kind of, I mean, we're kind of everywhere. We're just popping up everywhere, but we're not just stuck to being brick and mortar. We're not just stuck to being trailers. Like, we just want to we know that when we get our pizza in people's mouths, they're addicted. Yeah. It's that good.
And I'm excited to have one a little closer because like there's something of like this mental block between like me and like going past 33rd South, which is as like stupid as it sounds, but like to know, and I go to 9th and 9th enough for like so many reasons, or just go over to visit friends, family all over the valley. And I'm like, if that's there, it's like, all right, cool. Like now I can go get my Detroit style pizza in an even easier way. But I like what you mentioned about like, especially Michael McHenry and Sunday's Best. Cause like for me, like a lot of breakfast and brunch places, it's like really hard to differentiate yourself. Like there's only so many different foods that you can make or like make different takes on it. But he's really taken the whole, and like what you're alluding to is like the experience side of things to the next level, where like you don't go to a place like his and be like, oh, like, all right, like brunch hard, like, okay. And especially with the new location downtown where like they have the whole upstairs and been, I mean, honestly there for like more nights and like weekend events and parties, sort of things that I've been invited to as much as I have like brunch downstairs. So it's kind of like this multi-use space, and he's such a fun character and personality to have around. And also with Oak, I remember the first time I went there, someone's like, hey, we're going to go out to like, or I was visiting friends out there and like, oh, we're going to go to this place called Oak. I'm like, oh, like, okay, like, sure. We pull up and I'm like, okay, like pleasantly surprised. And then we sit down and eat. I'm like, how is this like here? And I didn't even realize, but we've been back a couple of times and it's always a good experience.
It's a solid experience. It's great. You know, I was really excited to hear about like some of the bigger brands are deciding to take a risk on Utah, right? Because they're seeing the success. Like, so Uchi, who's massive in Austin, is coming to Utah, I've heard, which is pretty incredible. I mean, I think it takes a couple months to get a table right now in Austin if you were like to ask for to try to get a reservation. So getting them out here and then, you know, hearing down the road that in the next like 5 years we could have a Dim Tai Fung. I mean, come on now.
That is my favorite restaurant of all time. I'm actually going to Seattle. So I used to live in Seattle as well. And then my girlfriend has never been there. So I'm like, oh, let's go. I'll go show you where I live. And like, by the way, there's one place we're going at least once. And every time I have friends, family in Portland, Seattle. I mean, everywhere there is a Din Tai. And if I'm in town, I'm like, even if I'm going alone, I'm going there. Like that is that will be like a tears to my eyes of like, we made it as soon as there's a Din Tai Fung in Salt Lake.
Agreed. I mean, it's just that it doesn't matter what city I go to. If they have a Din Tai Fung, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. Same as you. It's just the experience, the food, everything about it. And yeah, the fact that Utah's going to have one, Salt Lake City, Small Lake City.
Yeah.
Come on now. Pretty awesome.
There's like one of my friends, he runs an account that's mostly like Asian food reviews. And it's been fun to cause like I love food, especially Asian food from a previous relationship that got like just opened up my world of everything. But it was like, I was out when I moved back to Seattle, I was like, oh, I want dim sum. They're like, well, there's not really a great place. And now there's like a couple places. And especially like he did a post once talking about how Korean barbecue specifically, there was this like little pocket in West Valley where there's like kind of 6 within a 3-block radius, because there's like where like almost like kind of like a, not Korean town, but maybe like Korean suburb. Yeah. And so it's fun to see, I mean, similar to like the founders of Via being like, oh, I'm in Austin, but we don't have pizza. I'm going to make a place that's mine. Yeah. There's so many people that have come and been like, oh, I want this pizza and it's not here. I mean, the same thing with like Villaggio, and that's how he started it. Same with Matteo, and who like, I want Italian food. I'm going to bring it from my family from Italy. And I'm even going to move them out here from Moderna, and we're all going to do this together. Yeah. And I love that Salt Lake is a place where they can really like wrap their arms around that and say like, yeah, like we're in for it too. But then it's like on the other side, when I hate when I hear naysayers be like, well, there's no good food. And I'll be like, well, where have you been? He's like, tell me what's new. Or like, there's always like this pessimistic view on everything. And like, just give it a chance, or give something a shot, or like branch out. Yeah. Like I'm a big believer of that one. So then the more that we can get the best food, then the more happy I can get.
Agreed. And there's so much variety. I mean, just in pizza alone, obviously I'm very partial to Via 313, but I mean, like Victor's Pizza, I'm a big Pulp Fiction guy, so I was instantly drawn to it, but it's really good pizza. Yeah. And you mentioned Villaggio's amazing. Like there is so much good in Utah that when I hear people, it's like when I hear someone say, oh, the food, I couldn't taste it. Well, the first thing I want to say is like, did you test yourself for COVID? Like, the food tastes really good, right? Yeah. But I mean, yeah, keep hating. Utah will just keep crushing it.
I mean, especially when like the amount of development going on, like that's a big positive side. Cause like there's sometimes like around downtown, like the way they built a lot of the apartments has been like a lot of retail space at the bottom, and a lot of it's gone like vacant for years. Like even just south of us, because we're at Edison House, just south there's an apartment building that's like 3 retail spaces and nothing's ever been in there. But however, there's like, I mean, Central 9th, for example, they put in like the Maven District and some other things, and they're like, oh, who knows what's going to happen. And now you can't go like more than a third of a block without having some sort of new drink, food, or some sort of concept. And like Sugar House, from where it was 20 years ago to now, is a completely different story. And so I live in Marmalade, and it's been fun to see how that started to grow. And like I like that it's become kind of this like more dense kind of like townhouse area. Like there's probably at least 8 to 12 townhouse developments there right now, and there's at least 5 more currently under development, which is nice for a lot of reasons. But it's also been fun to see kind of all like that start to be like, oh, we're going to put these restaurants in here, and like the one that just opened semi recently is Taverna, like more like a New York style pizza place there. Yeah. That I'm like, I needed a pizza place like nearby, because it's like always hard, because if I'm going to get in my car, then there's like, okay, now I can go anywhere. What do I want to do? And it gives me like decision analysis paralysis, like a Cheesecake Factory menu. But then there's like one that's like really simple menu. Cause like I'm going back to that actually. I'm a sucker for a simple menu. Like you take me to Cheesecake Factory, I mean, especially the first time, I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. This is too much. But then you go to like an In-N-Out, I'm like, yep, I want a burger, I want fries, maybe I want a shake. We'll call it good. So yeah, simple is always better, execute. And also just like I actually want to call it out because it was such a good experience. I was trying a new sushi place, and like that's something I don't usually branch out too much. It's either like Takashi, Sapa, or Tsunami, just depending on where I'm at. But I had some friends talk about mint sushi and Sugar House, so I went, and I was like, it was good. Like it was really good sushi. Like I wouldn't say like it was out of this world, but it was like a good, be like, okay, if I'm in Sugar House, I want sushi, go there. But like the service was amazing. Like I always hate when it's like service industry sometimes gets looked down upon of just being like a job or like dead, whatever it could be. But I'm like, if you're going to do it, at least do it well. Like if you, especially because it's tip based, like add value to my experience, and I'm always happy to tip you. And so this guy's like, oh, I'll take a Sapporo. He's like, oh, actually, if you're gonna have Sapporo, if you spend $2 more, you can get this beer. And it's like 10 times quality, more ingredients. I'm like, yes, that sounds great. Or he's like, oh, well, if you like this roll, if you don't know what to get, this one's really good, but I usually get it sub this and do this. Or the guy in the back, I'm like, yes, this is exactly it. So, I mean, it takes more than just having a good brand and good menu, but having the right people that are there to show it off and and make sure the customers are taken care of.
100%.
That.
Yeah, I'm beyond passionate about service, hospitality, and experience. Right.
Yep.
You've hit on a lot of times. A lot of the restaurants, unfortunately, that have perished or gone out of business, it's because they got too comfortable, right? And they allowed people to just check boxes and take orders. And people go out, they want an experience. Like, it's expensive to dine out anymore, right? Like, I want more than just to eat. Right, I want an experience. I want to know that the person serving me the food cares about it.
Yeah,
that they actually love what they do, and it's becoming rare. But the restaurants that are winning, that are absolutely crushing it, it's because they have a culture where the teams actually love what they do and they love who they work for.
Yeah, I mean, especially someone like you who you see every review that comes in, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and know how to course correct on the bad and the ugly. But then being like, oh, cool, they like this because there's a great experience. Great product, keep moving. And like one of the easiest examples of like something just like fumbling the bag so badly, it was like Cafe Rio. Like I was thinking about, and I did a post about it the other week about like the original 33rd South location. I mean, you walk in, everyone's yelling free meal, everyone's yelling extra meat, it's packed, it's amazing. And then, I mean, they get complacent, they sell off a part of the company to private equity. Then all they care about is margin. And now you're like, this is nothing like what it was. And so sterile.
Yeah, I think at some point there will be like a Netflix special about the demise of Cafe Rio, because in its prime when it was brand new, I mean, it was iconic. I mean, it was, you nailed it. I mean, I can still smell and taste like what it was like in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But then you had Costa Vida that came along and was like, you know what? We're going to create a similar brand and we're just going to take better care of people and make better food.
Yeah.
And now 9 out of 10 people would choose Costa Vida over Cafe Rio all day long.
Yeah, throw me in that camp.
Yeah.
Like even there was one time when I was in Seattle, they put a Cafe Rio. It was somewhere up north. It was at least like a 45-minute drive to get there. But I was like, I'm craving Cafe Rio and I want it. And so I drive all the way up there and I have it. And I was like, no, like this isn't
They ruined it.
And I was just so like, like when you get so excited for something and it just flops.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sucks. I'm going to and I have a 45-minute drive home of just like sheer disappointment.
Yeah. There's a brand in Austin called Cabo Bob's. Similar to Cafe Rio. Like it has some Cafe Rio vibes, but it's it's a similar style restaurant. They're serving Mexican food, but it has that old school vibe. Like you walk in, everybody's screaming and yelling, except they're all wearing tie-dye shirts and they're a bunch of stoners.
Yeah.
But they're literally serving, I think, some of the best food in Austin.
Yeah.
It is so good.
And that's like, I mean, similar to that is like the Central Ninth. Like I'm like the amount of times I've gone in and like they're always blaring music and just like being them apologetic self. I remember there's one time I was in there waiting for a sandwich and there was this like definitely like older couple in their 60s and it was kind of like definitely like a pearl snatching and like purse clinching moment. I was like, yeah, it's probably for you. But there's the amount of times I walk in, I'm like Shazamming a song or like saying what up to Max and that just like but then everybody loves it because it's, I mean, great food and just people being like, yeah, here we are, take it or leave it. And you'll go scroll through reviews and someone's like, well, the music was just a little loud. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, well,
I'm going
sorry.
there.
Yeah, like that's, because there's like a post I saw recently where it's like, if you want to find the best, I think they used coffee in this example. It's like, find the most, it's either like 2 or 3 star reviews. Because it's like, if they're like, well, I didn't like something about it, but I can't say something bad about the coffee. Like that's the coffee place because they may have like this location may not have been the best spot or like the guy may have been a little rude, like which experience, hopefully it catches up. But like, they're like, but I can't give a 1-star review because the coffee was so good. Yeah. And so it's like, that's where you get a good product, but then like we talked about, get a little experience on top of it. And
got to have the experience, right? And there's going to be times where you don't want the experience, right? Like I just had a rough day. I want to have my AirPods in. I just want to go in, get some food. I got to stay alive. And that's great. But when you're going out with friends, you want a server that's knowledgeable, that's going to tour guide you through the menu, right? That's going to tell you, I like that, but I like it this way, right? Like at Via, I'm a big fan of double cutting our pizza. It's just easier to eat, right? The big slices are just a little bit much. I usually end up wearing it. But if I double cut it, I make it a little bit extra crispy. I always add hot honey. I get a side of ranch because I'm not from Utah, but I'm pretty much a Utah now, so I love ranch with everything.
Yep.
You just got to have those little unique things that take it to, I guess, the next level, right?
Right.
So we encourage our teams to always tell a guest what your favorite is, right? Like you eat here. I mean, the great thing about our teams is that they eat there every day. Like everyone that comes in, when they leave, they take a pizza with them because they like what we do. Our food's good. It's craveable.
Totally. And like, I like what you said about like, if you want to go have a night out, you want it to be a good experience. Like even recently, I won't tell where I went, but was at a restaurant at a friend in town from Nashville who hadn't been here in a while. It's like boys are getting together, 6 of us, and like just like flopped. Bad experience. Like took 30 minutes to even get an order for drinks. Took 20 more minutes to get them. And we were there for like, I mean, it was like a good that we were there for 3 hours, but it was always like, we didn't need to be like waiting or like for everything for 2 hours and then eat for the last hour. And it like was just kind of like a bad like rain cloud over the night.
Yeah.
Whereas like if it could have been a little better, it would have only made things better and made, I mean, that whole experience better. Yeah. And those are the places that thrive and succeed, are the ones that can make people come back because it's a positive experience and positive food.
Yeah. And everybody's going to have an off night.
Yeah.
Right. It's the industry. Like, I being in this industry as long as I have, I've had probably a lot of nights where I drove home without the music on. Right. And just sat in my garage for probably 10 to 15 minutes, just processing the night before I went inside. Yeah. And that's just the industry, but we power through it. We identify, why was the night like that, and we fix it. And 9 times out of 10, it's just people. You got to surround yourself with the right people.
Totally. And like, that's the hardest thing for restaurants to do, is like consistency. For a lot of, so many different variables that can happen in all sorts of food and experience in a restaurant. Like to be consistent is so hard. Like you go to a newer restaurant, you're like, oh, like I ordered the same thing, but this is not even close to the same thing that I ordered before. Or I had a different server and it felt like an entirely different restaurant, or even the night of the week. And talking to a lot of restaurateurs and entrepreneurs that have opened up locations, it's like the first restaurant's one thing, but then to be like, oh, well, how do I open up the second one without losing that quality or that consistency and the right SOPs and like making sure everything's made the right way. Like that's where a lot of people struggle, and it's either you put it in place before or you learn later. But
yeah, scaling restaurants is pretty challenging.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How do you serve the same pizza in downtown Salt Lake that you do in Denver, Colorado, or Austin, Texas, or Houston, Texas? It's challenging, right? It's really comes down to standards. Like, does your team hold the standard?
Yep.
Right? What do you allow to happen? Because whatever you allow becomes the standard.
Yeah. Like it came up a lot in a lot of brewers I've talked with, like Hopkins, TF, even like Mountain West Cider. It's like, cause I think I was even when I was talking to Isaac Winter, who now he's the director of distilling for all the Constellation brands, but was at High West for a while. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like tripped and stumbled into like the brewing industry and worked at Red Rock with, like Kevin Temple and a lot of the guys that started. But he's like, at first he's like, it's not us just like sitting around drinking beer all day and like making beer and fun. He's like, most of the time we are scrubbing things clean to make sure that it is ready for the next batch. So put on some boots and some overalls and grab a brush, because that's like usually where a lot of the consistency comes in from.
It's science.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love what Chad's doing over there at Hopkins. Hopkins is great. I'm a big fan. Like
it's one thing to have good beer and like a cool place. And most places like, yeah, cool, we'll have our program of food trucks, have them come by, which is fine. But like to double down, be like, but we're also going to have our own kitchen. Yeah. And hopefully that brings you just as much as the beer does. And they're one that does it really, really, really well.
Well, yeah. And you think about just, the trials and tribulations of traffic. The nonsense they went through for the past several years, just trying to get people to be able to park or even be able to find them. And, it's a beautiful building, an awesome space, and you can have the best product, but it was pretty inconvenient to get there. But Chad and his team figured it out and just, kept the lights on, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it was good to see how much Sugar House wrapped their arms around. Especially like going back to that example of pick a couple places you couldn't live without and go support them. Because like even hearing I think it was the end of last month, Quarters there closed up shop because all of it's to do with that. That whole street where Scoville's is and like Silverside Deli, like those have all turned over multiple times because of that. And it's like one of those variables, like you can't do anything about road construction. That's a variable you can't control. But to see people be like, we know it's hard, we know it's inconvenient, we know it's difficult, but like, I'll show up.
Yeah, we love you. I'm going to vote for you with my wallet. I'm going to continue to vote for you with my wallet. Just take care of me, right? And be consistent.
Yeah. Anything else you want to make sure we cover?
I don't think so, man.
Cool.
I love it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, John, I want to wrap up with the 2 questions I always ask everybody at the end of each episode. And number 1, if you could have someone on the Small Lake City podcast and hear more about them, their story, and what they're up to, who would you want to hear from? Someone on a Small Lake podcast that I want to hear more about. I think
I think Sean from the Park Cafe, I mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite humans, and I would love to learn more about Sean, man. Absolutely.
I mean, same. Like, I don't know if I could, like, if I were to go walk around downtown and stop you and be like, scale of 1 to 10, Park Cafe. I don't think I could have anybody below an 8. And if they did, they're like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like
if they're below an 8,
loves
they're
Park
crazy.
Cafe. Yes.
Right.
Like, it's the iconic breakfast place.
It is.
And then lastly, if people want to keep an eye on Via or see, all the specials or just keep an eye on things, what's the best place to find information?
I mean, social medias are great. Social media is a great platform. I mean, we're pretty active on the Instagram and such. But we have an awesome app, which is just in the App Store. We just partnered with a new partner, which actually they do a really good job. So it's a great app. We're able to message you and communicate with our fans and share what's on deck and what's coming up. There's some pretty amazing things coming up in the future for Via. I'm really excited about it. I
mean, this alone makes me crave pizza probably in the next 48 hours, especially Via. And then also where are the current locations? Because we talked about the 8th and 9th one that's opening up soon, but where are the other locations in case people aren't aware?
So in Utah, we have a location on University in Orem. We're on Lehigh Main Street. We're out in Riverton. We have one at Southtown Mall and one at Fashion Place Mall.
Cool. So if you haven't had Detroit style pizza, I know where to go. If you haven't had Via specifically, go check it out. We've given you some ideas of what to order or start with, but in case you need more, then someone there will take care of you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Sean.
Thank you.
I'm excited. Keep crushing it and excited for more people to find Via.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.